Welcome back to the world of Driftwood Works. In this episode, I'm going to take this piece of spruce and turn it into this amazing river rock table. As you can see in the footage, it's taken a lot of work to get it to that point. But the first thing we got to do is we take it to the CNC first, which will be in the next scene. We're kind of doing it voiceover just because we had built the table freehand, and it's just the only way to do it. Now that the wood is planed on the CNC, we had taken it to the sawmill and we had resawed it into two pieces because the client had in the past used an Alaskan mill, and he milled them at like 5 1/4 thick, and then they were air drying for I think about 4 years. But he wanted us to build the river table using the same two slabs from the tree, and he wanted matching benches. So it was a bit of a challenge because we had to kind of find the two best slabs that were going to be for the table, and then also we had to find the nice slabs that were going to work for the two benches. So it kind of just depends. At first, when you resaw the wood, you can get an idea of how the live edge is going to look, especially when you're dealing with such a long river. And I think he wanted the average width to be around between 8 inches to 11 inches wide. So that was another equation we had to figure out on the fly. But overall, I think it turned out really good. The mill is great too, just because the smaller mill we have works for 30-inch in diameter logs, and we've got new carbide blades, so it cuts super good for especially when you want to resaw. And then we finally got the mold built. Then we're able to pour. I think we poured 37 liters in this one. Might have been a bit more, but it was cool. The client got to come with his son, and they placed each rock themselves. And there was also tons of rocks from all over the States, Canada. They'd been collecting them for like over 10 years, he was saying. So there's definitely a story behind each rock, which is really cool as well. Then I had to bring it back down to the CNC machine. We have to surface it again to get it flush on the top and the bottom. As you can see, it kind of discolors it when you pour the epoxy, so that's why we got to plane it again. And then I sanded it, and then I was finally able to put finish on it. We used wipe on poly for this one. I like the wipe on poly because you can get away with, you got to put a lot more coats than Osmo, but it makes the river pop out more, especially in using epoxy and when it's clear, when there's no color. But as you know, as a woodworker, that's definitely the best feeling right there. When you finally, after all the hours of resawing and planing and sanding especially, That's the most time consuming. And you get to finally see the rocks come back to life again. And tell me in the comments what you guys like the most about building a river table or any type of woodworking project. I'd love to hear that. And this day was incredibly hot as well. I think we had to put an AC in the shop that day. Normally you can do like one coat every day pretty much. That's also why I kind of like Osmo a little bit better, because you only have to do a certain amount of coats comparable to 6 coats of this. And it's really porous too, the wood, so you had to put it on pretty thick in the first couple coats. And I just use like a little party cup with the blue paper towel, kind of wipe it in a circle, and that's why amazing how good wipe on poly is as well, just because you don't need a roller or a brush, and it doesn't leave streaks, which always makes me insane in the beginning when I was woodworking. So now that we've put all the coats of finish on it, I think I did about 6 coats of wipe-on polyurethane on this one, because I really wanted to see the rocks come out, because there's so many different colors. Sometimes we use Osmo, but with the river rocks especially, I would use wipe-on poly. And the customer has ordered legs separately, and he's going to put them on himself. I'd say my favorite rock would be this one that looks like an orange. There's also like a cool little Thai elephant.
I like this really sparkly copper one. I'm trying to get my shadow out. But
this one looks like a dinosaur egg cracking open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. They picked all the rocks themselves over like the past, I don't know, I think it was over the past 10 years from all over the States, Canada, maybe on some trips more tropical too. That's like a little Buddha he was telling me about.
Aww.
This one's just like a galaxy in itself.
Super sparkly.
And then these are the matching benches that we made as well for the table. And I just filled those with UV epoxy in the smaller cracks. And he wanted me to cut the back end off, so the live edge will be, it's nicer when you sit on a bench, especially with your thighs, so it doesn't rub. Like if you're on a sharp edge, it's just nicer to have this to sit on, and then this will be sticking out the back. But yeah, overall I think it's a pretty nice river, and it's not as heavy because it's not a hardwood. This was the spruce. Thanks for watching. This was a really fun project. We don't get to do these ones often, but when we do, it's really cool to show everyone too. There's Gizmo. Hi, buddy.
Come here. Say thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. But yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like. If you want to see any more of our videos, there's the links below in the description. You can also follow us on Instagram on many accounts. There's True Grit Photography, Driftwood Works, Driftopia, and Happy Little Slabs.
You can find them all in our bio.
Yeah, all of it's in the bio. There's a lot going on, like I said, but this one is like a really awesome piece for sure.